Hey, good morning, everyone. What's going on? Welcome back to the Glassman's world. About to get started here, making some more glass mushrooms. Getting the next batch of 50 made here, and I figured I'd just come live here and give you some news and current events and things like that. I guess. I don't really know what news is going on. I actually haven't really been paying attention to too much that's going on in the world here these days. Oh, where did I put that other lighter? That's good. Alright, so it is 6 o'clock, officially 6 a.m. The sun has not come up yet. It's still dark outside. As you can see, take a look. It's all dark out. Alright, so I don't know if you guys got to see this. I made a cool little video last night on it. And it's the red and white spotted. And it's got the gills underneath. I don't know if you'll be able to see the gills with the lighting in here, but that video shows the gills pretty well underneath there. So check out that video. It's a little short I put up yesterday, but it didn't crack. I'm surprised it didn't crack. It actually made it without being kilned so far. All right, 6:02. If it was 4:02, it'd be like a dyslexic 4:20. All right, so we got the peacock, we got the cobalt blue. Let's make some green. So, news and current events. Well, here in our home, we've actually recently pulled out the Christmas decorations. And we're getting our decorations all set up in the home, getting our house all Christmassy, getting ready for the holidays. And I got a nice little surprise coming later on today, actually. My wife and my kids don't know about. So that's going to be cool to surprise them. I'm not even going to say it right now just in case they're watching. But yeah, that's going to happen later on around dinner time or so. My wife will probably be sleeping around that time, actually. She normally goes down for a nap in the evening. I don't know. She's been waking up a little earlier, though. Taking a little bit earlier naps. So she might be awake, actually, right when it's getting delivered. Might have to tell her, hey, go to sleep. Go to bed. Alright, so we got the green stringer pulled there, so good morning. I see someone's in here watching. Alright, so we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. These are just solid single color mushrooms. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, if you guys are starting your Christmas decorations and things like that. But yeah, we're gonna have a Christmas 12 Days of Christmas here coming up soon. I believe on the 12th is when we get started with the 12 Days of Christmas until the 24th. Tomorrow, here locally in Albuquerque, we have the Nob Hill Holiday Shopping Stroll, and I believe Santa's in town. I do believe Santa Claus is in town for all you kiddos out there who are watching. And you can go check out Santa, go see Mrs. Claus possibly if they're at the same location together. She may be home still, baking cookies and getting that hot cocoa and eggnog already. But we can go see Santa Claus coming up here soon, and the Twinkle Light Parade is actually coming up here soon as well. So Thursday, December 5th, Nob Hill Shopping Stroll here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then on Saturday, I believe is actually the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though, but I believe it's the 14th, and that is the Twinkle Light Parade in Nob Hill. And I'll be doing live glassblowing demonstrations there, guys. So those of you who are watching, be sure to share this out to all your friends here in Albuquerque and let them know if they want to come see some live glass blowing. I'll probably be doing things simple like this here, you know, the simple pendants. And also, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do some live Christmas ornaments there as well. That may require me getting my second kiln down to the location over there. So you know what's interesting is after 30 years of blowing glass and making these things, I've been making these things all the time. I don't know, tens of thousands of these, maybe even hundreds of thousands. I don't know if I've made that many, but at least tens of thousands of these I've made and sold. You know, just recently I've made hundreds, right? Like I've had 50 go out the door here and there, 50 here and there, 50 here and there. I probably had 200 out the door recently. And yeah, I've made tens of thousands of these easily. Ever since 1995, this was one of the first items I ever learned how to make, was the mushroom push, the mushroom pendant, the mushroom necklace. Basically learning how to pull a stringer, so learning how to heat up the glass, and then being able to pull it in a way to where you can keep the thickness consistent, where you're not pulling it too thin in one spot and keeping it too thick in another. So you learn how to pull stringers, you learn how to gather the glass with the clear glass to make kind of like a marble, to form a marble on the tip of the rod here. And then you learn how to push that molten, to push the rod of color glass into the molten clear in order to form a mushroom inside of there, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see for a minute. It's got to stop glowing so bright hot there. But there's a mushroom in there now. And you just push it in there, so you learn how to push it in through the molten glass, force it directly in the center, and push it up into the clear glass until it has nowhere else to go. It kind of hits the wall of solid clear glass that's behind the molten glass, and then it kind of spreads out. And as you push the stringer of colored glass up into that wall of colored glass, as it hits itself, you push it in and it indents itself, and basically that's how you form the mushroom. So recently, after almost 30 years of making these, since 1995, I've just recently figured out one little trick that makes these like perfectly centered pretty much every time, and with a really nice mushroom cap. Like, I somehow just unlocked another like another little quick, simple step. I'm like, wait a minute. If you do this every time, like it's perfect. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So let me show you, or at least explain to you what that trick is here. Those of you who are watching and want to learn how to make these, this is some news right here. Glass blowing news. After 29 years of blowing glass, I figure out one simple little step, like a quick, simple step that changes everything. Well, it doesn't change everything. It just makes it a lot smoother and easier, and I haven't made one to where it's been crooked. So usually when you push the glass in, what I do is I normally just go directly into the molten, push it in as far as I can go, and let it then spread out, right? And let the color glass spread out. And then I just kind of use a little bit more force to push it in, and that mushroom cap grows and forces it to create the mushroom inside of there, right? So one simple thing that I'm doing now is before I just go in and just push it in, and as soon as it hits that wall, then I push it hard. What I'm doing is I'm going in and I'm finding the center, and I'm letting that molten glass kind of get the color glass real molten, and it starts to like gather right inside in the tip. So I'm just barely putting the tip in, just the tip, right? And then you just shove it in, just boom, and you hit that spot where it just bam. It's like you gotta give it just a tip, and then you can hit that spot. It's kind of interesting in that way. Those of you who know, you know. And that's how you form a perfect mushroom. It's interesting how I'm explaining it, but it is the truth right there. Alright, so we're going to get this all molten, and I'll show you what I do here. You get this all nice and rounded. Alright, so now that's all molten there. So you can see where the molten spot is. That's where the glass is going to go through. Alright, let me find the green right here. So watch, so I'll hit the green just a little bit right there. Just push in just a tip. Just let that gather a little bit. Hold it in place. Then you push in right there. And it seems to just like allow you to push it directly center. I think if you go in like the way I've been doing it for 30 years, the way like when you push it in, you're trying to hit in the molten spot, and it's like, you know, you're going through liquid. I don't know, there's something about just letting it settle and letting it set up for a second, and you push it in, it goes directly straight in like an arrow to the bullseye. The other way is sometimes you accidentally, when you push it in, the glass will move or shape like that, and then you're pushing it in all crooked. This gives it some time to kind of solidify, I guess, and then you can force it in, and it I don't know. After 29 years, almost 30 years of blowing glass, just this last week, a few days ago, I started doing that, and I was like, wait, that's cool. Like, hold on a sec. Let me try this every time now. So now I've added that little tiny bit to the step. So now every time that I teach someone how to blow glass, That's something new and entirely different than I've ever taught anyone else before. It's going to completely change the game on how to push a mushroom and make a mushroom on your first try. Usually I'll sit you down for an hour session for 30 bucks. So $30 for the hour. And you get to sit here with me one-on-one. And I'll show you how to make one of these like that. And I'll walk you through the steps. I'll be like, okay, this is what we're doing. And I'll slowly walk you through the steps as I'm doing them. Then I'll make another one again really quickly, but talking about the steps, talking through the steps, not really being so descriptive on the second time, because the first time I pretty much explained what's going on. The second time, you're just retaining that information. And then on the third attempt, it's your turn to get on the torch and make your very first mushroom. And so I'll be right there. I'll actually help you. A lot of times people will start doing this, and it's like, nope, leave your hands up. I'll start lifting your elbows up. Like, nope, lift your elbows up, keep your arms up. And people's shoulders will start getting tired, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do this. You're like, lift your elbows up, keep your elbows up, keep your arms up. And then there may be times where I'll like maybe help to spin something, help guide you, move your hands into different positions or things like that. And I may be like, okay, you need to lift the glass up, lift your hand up, and what that means is going like this. And some people are like, what do you mean? And they, take the whole thing out of the flame. So I may have to like just guide you. So like just lift your hand up like this. Like, oh, okay. So yeah, if you're here in Albuquerque and you want to learn how to blow glass, I'm going to be doing lessons hopefully soon. I want to talk to my friend about possibly utilizing his space and seeing if we can actually get glass blowing started at a local spot here, which would be pretty cool. You can just come in, just drop in, and if I don't have any students on, you could just get on the torch for $30, come in and try it. And then the other thing too is the one that you make, you get to keep. So you get to keep a souvenir of your very first pendant, and you get to learn how to make it, and you get a beautiful souvenir, basically. And I get to make some for my own inventory, so that's really cool. So it's a win-win situation for me. When I'm teaching, I may only make one or two for the hour instead of 12, which I don't know if I'm making 12. I might be making 10 an hour nowadays. So yeah, making a lot of mushrooms and getting those out the door. That's one thing. Recent current events, Gardenia Glass. I'm going to be getting back into the wholesale market. I've been doing a lot of retail. See how that goes. I like it. I like being able to do retail and have my own website up and going, so people can just order directly there. And I still need to do a lot of work to that and revamping and making sure that everything is all on point. Trying to keep it simple though. I've made several different websites. Some of them are a little too complicated and complex, and I want just a real simple shop where you could just take a look at the gallery, the inventory, the selection, and just simply choose, like, oh, I want a blue mushroom, and then bam, you just choose that. I want this, I want that. And you just choose it real quick and easy. And then I also want to have a spot where I can post up unique one-of-kind pieces. So, like jellyfish are pretty much unique one-of-a-kind. And then I'd have like a gallery where you can choose that specific one to make sure that you get that one to come to your doorstep. All right, so some other crazy news that's going on here locally in Albuquerque. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of businesses and shops that are closing up and down Central Boulevard. And this has been going on for a while, and also what I've noticed is on San Mateo, there's a lot of businesses, a lot of stores, a lot of shops that are going under on San Mateo, including the Walmart. Even our Walmart shutting down made national news, and people from all over, different influencers on YouTube were even covering that and talking about that. And why were these Walmarts shutting down in all these locations everywhere, right? Well, for me, I've been kind of speculating that, there's certain areas in our town that it just seems like businesses are just collapsing, whereas other areas in town, the businesses are thriving. And I don't know if it's just that the rent is going up more for certain individuals. I don't know if the property owners are getting taxed more from the banks and things like that, or what's going on. Why the payments, like, that's the one thing that I don't understand. Why does rent go up? Usually when a person purchases something, that property, the payment, it's on a fixed payment, right? So you're paying your mortgage on a fixed payment. Why would it increase? Do mortgages increase over time? I thought they were fixed. I thought that's why you sign a contract. See, I've never been a homeowner or a property owner, really, of any sort. I've never purchased anything straight out. If I purchased a vehicle, it was always used and from someone. I've never gone to a dealership or anything, so I don't really know how any or all that works. Like, when you're making payments on things, does your payment increase over time? I thought it was a fixed rate that you get locked into, and a fixed percentage, right? So why is it that some landowners or property owners, they start charging more for rent? Like, that's the one thing that's hurting the businesses, is they're not able to afford the rental increase. It's like, we're just barely making it by this month. We're trying to get in the black and we're still in the red over here. And then the rent increases, and then you have businesses forced to downsize to be able to get a smaller location that they can afford. But then they don't have all the goods that they were offering, right? If you have goods, then you're going to need space. If you're offering services, that could be a little bit different, right? You may be able to get away with a smaller location and still not really mess with your profit margin and what's coming in there. But I'm noticing that there are a lot of businesses shutting down here in Albuquerque, especially up and down Central. Recently, we've had some issues with a property known as the Tewa Lodge. Tewa Lodge is on Alvarado and Central. Central Boulevard is known as Route 66. So it's a main strip. A lot of people know Route 66. Central Boulevard is our main strip, main boulevard here in Albuquerque. It runs all the way through from east to west. Along Central, it's pretty much just full of crime, full of issues. And I've noticed in parts of it that they've been shutting down businesses, and then they've been creating new development. The Nob Hill area definitely has been having a lot of revamping, bringing in housing and things like that. But the thing is then that the housing that comes in is like extremely expensive, high rates, high costs, and a lot of people who are here in Albuquerque who are used to the rates that we've had for years are not able to afford it, and so a lot of people are like downsizing their living situations as people from like LA or New York or other spots are coming in, swooping in, since they've been, I don't know if you ever lived in LA, but man, rent is extremely expensive there. And mortgage and things. I don't know how people even afford to live there, but they do. I guess their income is a lot higher. They make more money there, so they spend more money. Some places you make less, so you spend less. The cost of living is less. But all in all, it's all the same, all in the wash. If you make more, your rent's more, right? If you make less, your rent's less. Depending on where you're living, the demographic of where you're at, and things like that. I live in one of the worst parts of town, known as the War Zone here in Albuquerque, also the International District, and there's always a lot of stuff going on here. And the rent is extremely affordable because there's a lot of crime and a lot of stuff going on over here. We have a lot of issues to deal with on this side of town compared to others everywhere else. But yet crime is everywhere. Not just in a few spots here or there. Hopefully my audio is good. Yesterday someone was saying my audio was going in and out. I know I recently had my phone run over. It fell out of my pocket when I was riding my bike as I was crossing the road, Louisiana, which is a pretty busy road. And one vehicle was coming. I was trying to get across in front of the vehicle, and one vehicle was coming. I probably should have just waited. And I raced across, which my knee popped it out of my pocket, trying to race across. Like, dang it. And it fell right there perfectly where the wheel track was. Like, it couldn't land in the middle of the street, in the middle of the lane where the car would have just rolled over it and not hit it. No, I had to land perfectly where the wheel was. Had to get ran over, completely ran over. Yep, I said ran. My daughter gives me a hard time every time. She's like, it's not ran, it's run. You got run over. It's like, no, I got ran over. I do that on purpose. Like Canada, where all the Canadians are in Canada, I say that on purpose too. It's not Canada. Oh, you're Canadians, aren't you? From Canada? You're not Canadians. from Canada. Canadian. Canadians from Canada. Cool, almost to number 5 on this one here. 30 minutes in. So yeah, I don't think I'm getting 12 in the hour anymore, else I would be on number 6 right here. This is number 4. Okay, speed up. Alright, so what I've been noticing with all these businesses shutting down on Central is that it seems like once they shut down, they're just like boarded up, vacant, and which has been bringing in more of the crime and the homeless situation and things like that. But then they've been cleaning and clearing them out, vacating them, evicting them basically from their areas and moving them away from Central. And so they've been cleaning up Central, but there's no difference in rent or pricing, and no one wants to rent in these areas because business is not going to come shopping in these areas, at least not yet, not for a minute. And so, I've just been seeing how these businesses, like the big old, there was a big building up the road here. It used to be like a Walgreens or CVS or something like that. And that thing's been vacant forever, right? It's like, why hasn't anyone come in and taken over? And that's right across the street from our fairgrounds, right across the street from our casino in town here. You would think that they'd be able to have some big business there, put a store there. Why don't they have put a grocery store in right there, right? Something. You could have the Smith's Grocery, Albertsons, some kind of Whole Foods, something like that, right? It'd be across from the Talin Market, Talin Market's like an Asian market. Not everyone can shop there or knows how to shop there. Their area of shopping, like when you go in, they have different aisles. So you'd be like, oh, I want to go shop in Korea, and then they got an aisle for Korean food. Oh, I want to go to Singapore. You got an aisle for Singapore. They're like, oh, this is interesting. So you go shop by region through each little each aisle in that store there. It's pretty cool, but it's different. And if you don't know what kind of foods are from Singapore or from Thailand or Bangkok or anything like that, you're not going to be able to read the labels or know what they are or anything. So Talin Market is kind of for those who either want to experiment with new foods, right? Or those who are from those countries and now live in the international district, right? And there's a huge Asian population here. They have the Buddhist monk temple just right down the street right there as well. So yeah, they have a lot of people that they can cater to, and then a lot of locals shop there as well. But having a regular grocery store right there would be awesome. It would be so helpful and beneficial for this neighborhood, for this area. But instead they got us dealing with little tiny shops, little like Sunshine Markets, and Size will be open soon. The shop that was burnt down recently nearby, that'll be reopened soon. They're already hitting it up with graffiti. What's funny is that wall, there's a wall that's like white bricks on the side that they left untouched, unpainted, because they know that people are going to use that to paint on it for murals. But in the front, it's all nice and colored and everything. They painted the stucco like a brick red. And someone had to go tag it. And it's like, really, guys? You have a whole wall on the side that you can tag, you can paint. They've left it for you, and you got to go tag the front of the store. Like, people they got no respect, or they just want to try to, like, this is my wall, and they just claim it. It's like, well, it's not your wall, and it's going to get painted over. It's just kind of childish that people do these things. It's so weird that grown adults, or that they think they're grown adults, they do these childish things. It's like, you have a wall that's been used, that's like left for you to be used to paint on. It's so weird. But yeah, whatever. Sides will be open soon. That's another related topic to the current event. But what I wonder is, like, what's been going on with all these businesses, all these shops that are closing down, places that go and then they get demolished, totally just taken off the map, and then turned into like a vacant lot, right? What's going on here? Where are all these businesses going, and how is Route 66 gonna become sustainable, right? So yesterday, while we're watching the news, they start talking about the state fair. Okay, the state fair is like right up the street from us here, across the way from that big old building, that vacant CVS building that I'm saying would make an excellent grocery store, right? The fairgrounds has been established for I don't know how long. It used to be in one location, in a different location, and they moved it over, and then they relocated it so they could develop housing. So the original location for the state fair was actually to the west of Louisiana, not the east. It was on the opposite side, and it went all the way from Louisiana all the way to Wyoming. Then they moved it apparently to its current location. It's been there ever since. I don't know how long ago. I don't know if this was in the 50s or the 60s or the 70s or when, but eventually the state fair landed its home at the Expo, New Mexico, and that's where they have our weekend flea market. They have Tingley Coliseum there, where they have a lot of different events. I worked several Tool events there. I got to see my first concert there ever, MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, with was it En Vogue, maybe? I don't know if that was the tour. MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice. I think that was 1991, 92, somewhere around there. That was my first concert ever. Uh, Monster Trucks, the Monster Jam, where I've done a lot of different events there, working the Monster Jam. Um, they've done the Pink Floyd laser light shows. They do the hockey. They have the basketball, the indoor football. They use Tingley Coliseum for a lot of different things. The Gathering of Nations powwow, the largest powwow, the Gathering of Nations powwow. That's been home to the Gathering of Nations. I don't even know how many years the Gathering of Nations has been occurring. But the first time I ever went was just recently, back in 2017. And that's when we started gifting out the drop of water. And that's when that whole entire legacy started, and it is still going to this day. So Tingley Coliseum is pretty prominent. That's also the Expo New Mexico, the state fair. That's where I won Best of Show in first place for my balloons. There's a lot of connections there. We've done a lot of events at the Manuel Lujan building. We've set up events there. that's where we met Sue in the Norwest. That's when my wife got into Norwex and our whole story about our shitty experience with Norwex and how our son basically pooped on me and gave me a shitty experience when we were at the state fair while we're at the Norwex booth, and I go running out the door to go clean myself up or try to, and thinking, dang it, I'm gonna have to go home now. The state fair day is ruined, and here comes Sue and her Norwex to the rescue. And she comes and she cleans up the poo off my shirt and my shorts with a rag and water, and I was just like, wait a minute, what is this miracle product here? I don't have to go home now. I don't have to leave the state fair. So yeah, so that memory is also there at the Manuel Lujan building. So many different memories, being at the Indian village, the Indian market, or sorry, not the market, at the Indian village there in the powwows and setting up with Saba there while he's doing his t-shirts and things. Being a part of so many things there at the state fairgrounds, Expo, New Mexico, setting up and selling. For the first time ever, I set up with my glass back in 1997 to set up at the flea market, which is at the Expo, New Mexico State Fairgrounds. So there's been a lot of history there. There's a lot of, I've been connected there for quite a bit. I'm sure there's even more things that I'm completely forgetting about this or completely forgetting about that. But so many big events have occurred. They even have the racetrack there, right? The racetrack, the casinos there. They have all these different buildings, the Hispanic Arts Building, the Indian, the Native Arts Building, the Manuel Lujan Building, all of the livestock stalls for the 4-H club. You got all the cattle. They do the milking demos there, and there's so many things that are going on. The sheep shearing events. There's so much at the Expo, New Mexico location, the state fair. And yesterday, they made this announcement. Apparently, they've already sold the property over to someone else, and they've green lighted new development for new developers to come in to take over Expo, New Mexico. They're going to try to convert it into housing, guys. They are removing our state fair, and they're going to convert it to housing. That's ridiculous. After all these years, all these events that have been there, all these experiences and everything, they're just going to up and sell it. They've already given the green light for developers to come in the next few years. So they said next year, the state fair will be there. They didn't say for the next 2 years. They said next year the state fair will be there. And then new locations are possibly going to be in Moriarty, Edgewood, or I forgot where else they said. Was it Rio Rancho? I don't know if they even mentioned Berlin. You would think they'd go down to Las Lunas or Berlin with all the livestock and everything down there. I know they got a lot of livestock and animals in Moriarty and Edgewood and things like that too, but I think this is pretty huge news. Not a lot of people know about it. I don't think. Uh-oh, did I make an extra? I was supposed to make a whole different color right there. Oh, well there's 6. Alright, let's see what other color we can make here. We got all the blues and the greens kind of here. I guess we could do like a lighter blue. We'll do this like baby blue here. There we go. So yeah, guys, I don't know. This is pretty crazy. The New Mexico State Fair. This is a statewide fair. People travel from all over to come to the New Mexico State Fair here in Albuquerque, right up the street. It's home to all these different events. They're gonna basically evict everyone and displace them, and then try to rebuild somewhere else. I was thinking, well, maybe they're gonna move it to Balloon Fiesta Park, but then I was like, but if they move it there, you know, they're gonna trample the grass. They can't have. Well, I guess I'm like, wait, Balloon Fiesta has that many people walking around. I guess they can have that many people in the grass. But they don't have all the buildings. Like, where are you going to put all the different expos and all the, like the Hispanic village and the Indian village and the 4-H club and the petting zoo and the McDonald's area, and there's like so many different things. Like, what is going on? This is pretty crazy. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but Albuquerque is going to be really different if they get rid of the state fair. If they move the state fair to Edgewood and Moriarty, then that means that they're going to make plans to develop those places really large into the next metropolitan area, like Albuquerque. So just be prepared for that if it's going to come to your region. It may boost the economy, which would be good, but you know, my wife was saying, well, I don't even know if there's enough water back there for the people that are there now. And I know that there's a lot of water underneath that area because of the way that the mountains are slanted. And that's just where the water table is all underneath that area. They're just not really drilling for it. They're not tapping into it, or they haven't. I think they know that there's a plethora of water underneath the earth. I think the powers that be know that we have a huge source of water underneath the earth, and they're going to continue to charge us. They're going to upcharge us. They're going to make it look like there's a drought, and then we won't have the water, or at least they claim that we don't have the water, and they'll keep on charging us more and more for it. Even though we'll never run out of water, the same amount of water that's been on the planet since time immemorial is still here, right? Nothing has been taken out of this planet and removed into space. It's all within the atmosphere. It's all held here and contained here. We're all held here and contained here. Nothing has ever left this atmosphere. Nothing except for your dreams and your imagination. So the state fair is going to be gone, guys. They've already given the okay to future development, and they're going to turn it into housing. So what does that mean is that pretty much like what I was saying, the central San Mateo corridor going all the way down to the Air Force Base, Kirtland Air Force Base, all the way down to Gibson, San Mateo from Central to Gibson, right? I've been saying that it's going to be a corridor of some sort, transportation to and from the military base, coming in and out. They're probably going to create housing right there at the Walmart, where the Walmart location is. Hopefully they'll do shopping and housing, where they put the shopping right underneath and have the business owners live above. That's smart to do, and have other residents live above as well. You create a centralized community right there. But what does that do? Centralized communities is basically what they're planning to do for the 15-minute smart grid hubs or smart grid cities. Being able to place us into these housing areas, giving us everything we need, and saying basically you're limited to what you can get to in 15 minutes of walking distance. Like, where can you walk to in 15 minutes? That is your new perimeter. And this is all speculation, of course. I just know that we are the Q city. You know, we are leading the Q in this smart grid technology. We are the first city to have free public transportation citywide. And other cities are using us as a model. We are modeling certain things for other cities to follow. It's weird because Albuquerque has always been one of those cities that's been like way behind, not too advanced, and now we're going to become part of the forefront of this smart grid technology, smart grid cities. And so yeah, I'm making the prediction now. I am speculating from what I'm learning. If they remove Expo New Mexico and turn it into housing, that will be a smart grid development. Guaranteed. It's also right up the street. Louisiana from Central to Gibson, once again, all the way to the base. The other entrance to the base. Where's another entrance to the base? Would be on Carlisle. And then there's one on Eubank, I believe. I think there's another one on Eubank and another entrance on Wyoming. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this. It's news. It's very new. It just came out last night. They're talking about it. Our governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, says that the papers have already been signed and they've already been given the green light, the okay, for future development to come in and tear down Expo New Mexico. To recreate it into sustainable living, guys. Now, sustainable living, that doesn't mean it's affordable living. And that's the problem, is they keep allowing these developers to come in, developing new things, which is going to cost a lot more money. But what about developing some employment that allows people to actually afford to make a living? So people can actually afford to live in these homes that they're developing. Our rent keeps increasing. Our rent went up $200 recently. The first time it went up $25. I'm like, oh, well, that ain't too bad. That's okay. And then bam, it went up $100 recently. I'm like, whoa. I knew that was going to happen, but that was a slap in the face reality. Like, okay, here it is. Now we're paying $100 a month more. We're not getting anything new. We're not getting any better service. If anything, we're getting worse service now. I found out that the owner, the new owner of the property here, his maintenance workers are crap, I guess. And they recently weatherized our swamp coolers by putting trash bags over the intake panels. So if there's holes or cracks or whatever on the sides of the whole entire unit, well, air's gonna seep in still. They didn't cover the whole thing from the draft. They just covered the little windows. Like, oh my gosh, the little filter inlet with trash bags. I'm like, you guys are serious? For real? But we did have a cover. We had a cooler cover. It was in here in our apartment. It came with our apartment. I don't know if they've ever used it to cover it or not. I don't have a ladder to get up on the roof, but I can climb a tree to get up there. Recently I got up there and I found out they took our cooler cover and they never put it on. They just put them plastic bags in. I'm going to have to take a video. I'm going to have to do a video on this and show you guys. I'm not going to call out the owner. I'm not going to call out the property or nothing like that. I'm just saying that the maintenance workers, they took the cover, and I don't know why, but our neighbor came over yesterday and he's like, yeah, I used to rent from this guy, and the maintenance guys were horrible, and we actually had to go to court over some things. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for the heads up. Good to know. Won't have to be worrying about these maintenance people. But they may be shady. I might have to let my wife know, like, hey, don't take your eye off these guys. Make sure you don't leave them alone. Keep an eye on them. Watch them. But that's messed up. They came in, they took the cover, and then they put it where'd they use it? Where'd they take it? Like what? They just took our covers and what? Put them on a different property? They're like, oh, these guys don't need their cover. I told my wife to let the management know, like, hey, we had a cover. They said they're gonna put it on, and then my husband had to get up there on the roof because there's some cats running around, and he saw that there's no cover. So I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, whatever. I can't believe they took the cooler cover, said, oh yeah, we're gonna go and put it on, and then they just left with it and just covered our holes with trash bags. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But you know, if you bring up anything like that or whatever, like I don't know if they would then like decide, oh well, if you don't like it, we'll just evict you for no reason at all. So I don't want to make any complaints or anything because pretty much we're in that whole predicament where we can't really afford to find another spot. This is like the most affordable spot we can find. Yet they brought our rent up $200 recently. It's like, whoa, another $100 increase recently. So this month, actually, oh my gosh, this month we have to pay that whole amount. I don't know if my wife remembers, but she said that she paid. You know what? I didn't give her any extra money. She said she paid the rent. Did she pay the extra that we owe for this month? Oh my gosh, we might be getting hit with the late fee now on top of that. Oh, that's great. That's fun. I'll just keep on working. I'll just keep on making money and but yeah, it's pretty wild. So new development is happening, guys. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if my audio is working. I've had people come and go all morning. So if they're coming in and they're not hearing anything, and they're just like, oh, it's just quiet, like, all right, bye. That'd be weird. All right, but I'm going to let you guys go. It's an hour in. I've only got 30 minutes until I need to go catch my bus and go start working. I guess. I mean, I could push it. I could push it back another hour. Instead of get there at 8, I could get there at 9. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to push it back. I'm not going to rush out. It's probably cold outside. I don't need to hurry up and get out there. I'll wait for the sun to come up to warm up the grounds and everything before I get started on some yard work today. But that's some of the biggest news that I've heard recently for our local news here in Albuquerque. Nationally, I don't know what's going on. There's, I guess, some kind of a sinkhole in Pennsylvania. A lady went looking for her cat and she fell in. So I think they're currently trying to rescue her right now. Biden, national news, Biden pardoned his son. Got the old presidential pardon on his way out. He's making some big moves on his way out, huh? trying to get us into the World War III. That way Trump has a lot on his hands right away, a lot to deal with. He's trying to Trump him, trying to Trump, trying to stump the Trump. We'll see how he works this out. But yeah, it's kind of interesting what Biden's been doing on his way out. I knew he was going to pardon his son, but what's idiotic is the fact that we're talking about something of, oh, I didn't register for having a firearm, right? And oh, I tax evasion. Like, whoopsie-doo, who cares about any of that? What happened to the laptop? And what happened to all the children, all the minors that he was apparently with, right? There are photos of all of that everywhere, all around. You know, it's proof that he was doing that. He was doing illicit substances off of their back, right? While engaging in illicit activities with minors. But we never talked about any of that. What happened to the laptop and what happened to all of that? Who cares about the gun charge and who cares about the tax evasion? I certainly don't. I have a feeling my audio is completely cut out. I have people coming in, watching, and then they're gone right away. So I don't think I have any audio. I don't know what's going on, guys. I'll have to go back and watch this video to see. Or people are just tired of watching the same thing over and over again. They're like, oh, he's just doing the same thing. It's just the same live stream. It looks the same, always the same. Nothing new, nothing different. Just a bright fire. Like, there's nothing different. It's the same view, same everything. Maybe I should move the camera around and change up the views from time to time, huh? Change it up some. But yeah, I don't know if we have any audio today. We're going to find out here in just a little bit. Yeah. I was planning to get there at 8 o'clock, but I'll get there at 9. And then that way I can let my client know. I can message her at 8 o'clock and be like, hey, I'll be there in an hour. I don't want to message anyone right now at 7. Like, hey, I'm on my way. Hopefully that's okay. But yeah, my client said today or tomorrow's fine. I'd rather get it over with and get it done today just in case something else pops up tomorrow and I get a new client tomorrow. I like to always just get it done now to see what you can do again tomorrow, not put it off until tomorrow. A lot of people do that. We live in the land of mañana, mañana. Oh, mañana, mañana. Tomorrow, tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Like right now, hey, there's no tomorrow. Right now, hey, it's everything. Right now, it's the magic moment. Do it right here and now. It means everything. Right? I don't even know who sings that song. But that's a good anthem right there. Do it right here and now. Don't put it off until mañana, mañana, mañana. Don't be like a bunch of New Mexicans all got your siestas going forever. Another siesta. Let's take a nap. Let's just sleep the days away. That's okay. Life will be over soon. Like, what kind of mentality is that? Sleep your life away. Mañana, mañana. Put it off until tomorrow. You know, I like to just get things done. That way I can open up tomorrow for new opportunities, new experiences. That's how you live simultaneously. It's like jumping, you know, like you just simultaneously act like, oh, boom, let's do that. Boom, let's do that. Boom, let's do that. Being on a schedule sucks. Being on other people's schedules really sucks. Having other people demand your time, they're like, I kind of wanted to just be free and flowing today. I didn't know I was going to have to go run errands and do this and do that and do this and do that. Well, I'm free, free falling. It should be free flowing, huh? Yeah, I'm free, free flowing. Be like the water, not like the land. Flowing about it just like the plan. Getting down to the stream in the ocean floor. Water is life in each of the drops. There is life that will never stop. Water is life, don't you ever forget. 'Cause water is life. But sometimes it causes strife. Always know how to swim before the big waves take you in. You're gonna ride that storm. When it rains, it pours. Don't be caught in a snore, sweeping away your life, because water is life. I don't know what I'm singing. I'm just making up weird stuff. If the audio works, well, there you go. Weirdstuff.com. Just kidding. I don't know what. Don't go to that website. I don't know what that's going to take you to. Like, what's on weirdstuff.com? You're like, oh, whoa. I don't even know what's on there. I've never been. Now I'm curious. Should we all go check it out? What's on weirdstuff.com? Who has that? Weirdstuff.com. Hopefully it's not just some dumb little site. It's like, oh, it's just like toys for sale, a bunch of weird toys. Creepy dolls or something. All right, 64 minutes in, and we almost got our 10 for the hour. This would have been number 10 right here. But I made 6 of the green. We have 1 extra green to throw off our count here. I'll make 1 more of these. We'll put this one off to the side. That's just going to mess up our count. We need 1 more light blue. Perfect. Alright, well, I'm going to let you guys go after this one. We're going to keep this stream to an hour or close to it. I just wanted to let you guys know some of the news and current events that are going on, especially with the Expo New Mexico. That's a really big deal, guys. I don't know what's going to happen with that. with all of the 4-H members and all of their livestock. I mean, the fairgrounds is built. I mean, when we had all the storms and all the rains and everything, where did they bring the animals? They brought them to the fairgrounds. They were able to house them and to protect them there, to keep them safe while we were going through floodings, while we were going through fires. You guys, if we move the state fair, that is going to be weird. Now, maybe if they make it bigger and expand it and make it amazing, but that's a lot of tax dollars at work in order to make that happen. Are they using the money they're getting from the development companies to then make a new fairgrounds? That's pretty wild. You would think that it would be extremely expensive to start from scratch rather than just adding to what you got and putting more money into what you got now. They could build buildings there. They can make bigger buildings for the fair, but they're going to turn it into housing. Imagine like, oh, I live at the Manuel Lujan building. You know, actually, it'd be interesting to see what were these buildings? Were they there before? And then the state fair came in, like were these streets there before? And then they built everything around a neighborhood? So I'm pretty sure the road copper, I think probably went all the way through at one point, right? That's where you enter on the San Pedro entrance on the west side. And then there's the Louisiana entrance right there. But yeah, that would be interesting to see if these roads were actually there before and how they actually built Tingley Coliseum and the casino and everything there. Like, what was there beforehand? What's the new development? I'm going to now go down the rabbit hole and check out the history of the Expo New Mexico, when it was built, when it was formed, all this stuff, what was there beforehand. This is big news. This is a big ordeal here. This is ridiculous. You know, it's not like they're just expanding it to somewhere larger nearby, like Balloon Fiesta did. You know, where they were once in a dirt field, and eventually they purchased the property to the north of them and created an amazing Balloon Fiesta field and park and museum and everything there. Completely made it better from what it once was, and now the old field is now a new RV lot, right, for RV parking. So next year may be our last opportunity to go to the state fair in its current location. How wild is that to think? I'm glad that we went last year. I'm glad we had fun. Really good time. This may be our last time, guys. This may be my last opportunity to enter and have my work in the Creative Arts building there, right across from the Manuel Lujan building, just to the west of Tingley Coliseum. Wow, this is going to impact a lot of people. I mean, there's all the vendors that come to the Manuel Lujan building, all the artists that enter all the different ones, not just in the Creative Arts building, but you have the native arts, the Hispanic art, the African American art and that pavilion. So many of my friends have performed there every year. The powwow, the gathering, like, oh my gosh. It is crazy to think that they're going to that they have sold it and they've already given the green light and the go-ahead in the near future, in about 2 or 3 years, for development, new developers to come in and redevelop the Expo New Mexico, guys. This is crazy. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. It's an hour now. We've got 10 more made in that hour. I guess 10 per hour. So 5 hours to make 50. That ain't bad. 50 of them at $100. That's $20 an hour. That's not bad. And that's at wholesale. And that's without having to tie the string, not putting any extra work or money into the cord. All right, well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Started streaming 64 minutes ago, huh? Cool. All right, you guys have a beautiful day. Let me know what you guys think about the Expo New Mexico, possibly moving to either Edgewood, Moriarty. I mean, just what do you guys think about it just being sold out to developers right out from under our community? I don't think there was even a town hall meeting or anything. I don't know if there was any sort of announcements, any public announcements to see what the community, what the citizens of New Mexico would want, prefer. This is going to be crazy. There's going to be an uproar, guys. I'm going to do another video specifically on this without the glass blowing. We'll probably go walk around Expo New Mexico sometime here, maybe during the flea market. You know, maybe we could go walk around over there and check it out. But you guys have a beautiful day. It is Wax Wednesday. ABQ Craft has their specials. I'll be there soon. You guys have a good day. See you later. I'm out.